Okay, hi everybody. It's Nashville Geek Girl. I'm here with Captain Jack for Pros on Cons.
Hello.
Where we are not pros, nor is it always about cons. In fact, today it's not about cons. Today we're talking about the Nashville Zombie Walk, and we have a special guest with us to talk about the Zombie Walk. We have Zot.
Hi guys. Yeah, it's me.
So we all had a really good time yesterday at the Nashville Zombie Walk. This is actually our second take of this podcast. I'm trying to remember everything that we said that we want to re-say, but not the stuff we don't want to re-say. So we had a lot of fun at the Zombie Walk. The rain held off until right there at the end, which was perfect because by then we were sweaty and ready for the rain to wash all the fake blood off of us.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, we couldn't have had a more perfect break in the weather for that. I was pretty happy.
Yeah, there was a small lake by the car, and I
took a bath.
I took a bath in it.
I believe
I was far too sticky to get back into the
So
vehicle.
gross. Had like the open wound on his arm and
It
stuff. It
was
was
gross.
disgusting.
Yeah, it's nasty.
There was a lot of nasty at the Zombie Walk. So we had talked about Second Harvest Food Bank. We raised lots of food.
She said, just eyeballing it, that we raised more than we did last year. It was probably about half a ton, but we'll get official results tomorrow. And she's also going to send over historical results so that we know we can keep track of that over time over the years.
That's really good, because I know that not last year, but I believe the year before, and a ton was raised at the
It was just, I think it was just over a ton. Yeah.
That's a lot of food.
It's really good.
That's
It's really
a lot of
good
food.
year for that.
Yeah, that was a good year. The weather was beautiful. We didn't have we had free reign of the city. It was definitely a different walk, but a very good one of my favorites.
And so we talked about the route got changed, but the route got changed for the better. In the beginning, the route was much smaller. It was about half what it ended up being.
Right.
And the zombies took to Facebook.
They did take to Facebook. I got all the zombies on Facebook telling us exactly how they felt about that. And the thing is that we agreed, right? We as event organizers, nothing's always perfect. We want things to be as good as we can, but walking into this event, we had a lot of adversity. This is the first year that we really had fully cooperated with the city's wishes. I mean, last year we had the permits and we had the go, but we didn't really work with them as far as having a meaningful conversation about what a zombie walk is, why we're doing it, and all the things. So we had those conversations. They were hesitant to work with us at first. In fact, they didn't want to work with us at first, and I explained we had some changes in our organization. We have some different leadership, and they said that we could continue to talk about it, which is good. And I'm paraphrasing here. Obviously, those weren't the exact words, but obviously we pushed through as the event happened. You know, I didn't like the route initially, but we got the feedback on the site. I posted a little video kind of explaining the things, and the reaction to that was very positive. I think I only saw, at least was notified of 2 people that really kind of got grouchy about it, but 2 people out of thousands, I'll take it, right? Can't make everybody happy. So, you know, I got a call the next day from the city saying, hey, look, we were watching your Facebook page and other pages, yours being the Nashville Zombie Walk page, and we like what we saw, so let's fix that a little bit. So they worked with us and they fixed the route, and they put us in touch with a good security company that would make sure that we had the right amount of off-duty police officers, and we did. We pulled it off, and I thought it went really well. We did. I'll have the official numbers tomorrow for the Second Harvest Food Bank, but you know, better than last year, which is, you know, what we always try and strive for.
And we talked about the security guys. Were amazing. They were fairly interested and excited in the goofiness that was going on, but they were also on top of things. It was really well done there too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those guys were great. It was really funny. I called Josh Crow at Consolidated on Thursday, maybe Wednesday, and I was like, "So the city just changed our route, and I know you guys weren't thrilled with the previous route, but let's talk about this one." And he said, "Okay, I need to call the owner on this. Give me 20 minutes." And that was like a heart-stopping 20 minutes, because if they said no, finding another security company within 48 hours of the event would have been tough. And turns out that the owner of that company likes what we do, and so does he. And they were great. You know, they made sure that everything was spot on. So kudos to those guys.
Yeah, so the route was changed and went all the way down Broadway, which was really fun. We stopped traffic and walked right in front of people's cars. Was it second?
It was second.
Something downtown. We walked past Broadway. I did.
Yeah.
So we walked all the way down up to the park, which was a fantastic stopping point. It was beautiful. There was a lot of opportunity for some gruesome zombie pictures. And
I have a question. When you guys got to Second and Broad, was the street preacher still there?
no, I didn't see him at all.
That is a bummer, because about 1 o'clock when I drove by, he was given the hardcore fire and brimstone
Oh.
end of the world, and I was just thinking, man, how awesome would it be for him to be fire and brimstone, and the look on his face when he said sent a whole street full of zombies. That would have just been epic. Maybe next year we can get a street preacher. It'd be pretty awesome.
Just get a street preacher.
Just get one. Just call them up. Hey,
Is there an 800 number for street preachers?
So you know what's going to happen is you're going to have a street preacher cosplay. You're going to have like 5 of those next year.
Okay.
Show up.
Well, there was like a zombie pope.
There was a zombie
There
pope.
was a zombie pope or something like that.
The Big Bird pulling wheels in her wheelchair was pretty awesome. That was a zombie Big Bird. I don't know what was going on there, but I thought that was pretty cool.
It was good. My favorites, I had a lot of fun with the actors from the haunted houses. They looked really good, and they were really good about interacting only with the people that invited it, which I know had been a problem in previous years. But they were also a lot of fun.
Yeah. The guys that came out, I think those were from Devil's Dungeon and Haunted Hell. That they work together, right? So I think that's all the same crew that puts those on. Those guys came out and just kind of blew it up, right? I didn't expect them to bring their hearse. I didn't expect the guy on stilts to show up. That was pretty cool. The guys from Miller's Thrillers were there with their truck, which they were nice enough to let me use as a platform, because, yeah, you got to have a platform if you're going to address 1,000 people or 500 people or whatever. It was funny. It was cool. I had a really good time. I enjoyed it. What was y'all's favorite zombie?
This was my favorite zombie. The whole way there, he's just got blood dripping off him in the car, and I'm like, you're going to have to tell me if I can get over, because I can't look at you right now. It was awful and gross and amazing.
I saw the Stormtrooper and Darth Vader zombie was pretty cool. The
Did you see the Batman and Catwoman and the little tiny Joker?
Yeah, they've made all their kids the bad guys. It was really cute. They were really funny. We talked to them at the end of the route. They were really nice.
They were great. When the zombie apocalypse comes, little tiny adorable zombies is how I'm going to die. Because one was like, can I take my picture with you? And I was like, oh, you're such a cute zombie. Do you want to hold my gun? And that's how I lose the zombie apocalypse.
Yep, that happened.
It does. Sorry. Mommy, I'm hungry. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you're so cute. What was your favorite zombie?
Man, there were so many good costumes. A lot of really good prosthetic work from people who are obviously not professionals, but the work that they were doing was
professional caliber.
Professional caliber, and I appreciate seeing a good zombie makeup, because a lot of people think, oh, just throw a bunch of blood on you and you're good. And that's fine. If that's all you want to do, that's cool. But the people who want to like throw like open wounds,
that's what you like.
Yeah, I want to see some gore. I want to see something that makes sense. How did you die? Did you get swarmed by zombies and eaten yourself and then turn?
I don't mind just covered in blood. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see the really gross stuff because I appreciate it as an artist. So I liked what the guys were doing with the that came out from the haunted houses. The silicone masks were just spectacular. Very well sculpted.
The one
pieces.
guy with the giant tongue.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And we had talked about in the first take that didn't go online was the one woman with the baby in the carrier, and it was like peeking out of her dress, and he was nomming on like a plastic can.
Yeah, apparently he was teething, so she used it. I thought that was great. So they gave him a
plastic can. He was just he was adorable.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
And that's one of my favorite things about the Zombie Walk is that's one of the events that I go to that I see the most families and kids. And that's kind of cool and different.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, we always want to make it. We always want to make our events family friendly. The Zombie Walk is definitely one of those things where we want to make it a family event. I've got friends that bring their kids, and their kids have never not gone to a Zombie Walk, and I think that's really cool because the kids embrace it and they like it. And they realize it's just fun, right? They're not scared. They think it's cute, and the kids grow up to be amazing geeks, right? I mean, some of those kids were 6, now they're 12 when we started, and they're amazing geeks. I've got a little geekling, he's 11, and he's crazy for zombie walks, he's crazy for GMX, he loves Doctor Who, and that's the kind of thing that we want to encourage because those are the thinkers of our next generation, and we want to encourage them to think.
Yeah, we're absolutely bringing up a whole new generation of geeks, and they're going to outnumber us. It's going to be awesome.
And you've been doing this for 7 years?
This was the 6th. This was the 6th one.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Because it wasn't previously yours, right? It was previously run by
It's been run by a couple of different groups. Groups/people/randoms that just created an event on Facebook, right? It's been passed around a little bit. We got it because the previous manager walked up to us at Dragon Con and said, hey, do you want to do this? And of course we're like, yeah, it'd be really cool. We can't wait to get started on that next year. He's like, no, man, it's in 14 days. Okay. He's like, you don't have to do much, just collect the food. I'm like, pretty sure we need to shut some streets down. No, you don't have to do that. I'm like, yeah, pretty sure we need to do that.
Yeah.
Turns out the city agreed. The next year, they're like, yeah, you got to shut the street down.
Well, I thought it was a really good turnout, even with the weather. I think that the weather scared some people away, and there's no way to really control that.
Well, I think that I was looking around. I'm guessing there was probably somewhere between 100 and 200 people there. Just guessing. That showed up sporadically throughout the.
So like 100 to 200 at any given time.
Yeah, at any given time, because I know I saw some people there in the beginning, and then I saw different people show up towards the end. But as we were progressing down the street, it looked like more zombies were coming in from the sides.
They were
pointing the progression. So there were more people there than were just at the beginning. And so the total head count had to have been, like I said, I'm guessing over 100 people.
Well, you had said...
I think it was a bit more than that, but, I mean, there's no way to tell, right? Because people show up and they leave, and there's no really good way to do a head count. I think we're going to do... I don't know how we're going to do a head count next year. Maybe we have a voluntary registration sign up. That way we can kind of track how many people we have. Because if we have 2,000 people, well, we have to plan for 3,000 people the next year. But I don't know. That's next year. I'll worry about that in March.
Right.
Worry about that. Right now it's time to worry about GMX.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, got some focus on that show. I'm pretty excited. I always get really excited this time of year. It's weird because I get like this. I start having these weird dreams. You know the ones I'm talking about when you're like high school and you're like standing naked in front of the class or whatever. Except mine are nobody shows up to GMX, and I'm the only one. Like Riley doesn't even show up to drink a bottle of wine with me, and it's like really sad. But it's like apprehensive and nervous and excited and all the things at the same time because we started working on this year minutes after last year ended. Yeah. So it's we work on this all year round, and Our staff is amazing. It's crazy to me. We were talking last night after the zombie walk about what people say about what we do, and after we describe what we do, the zombie walk and GMX and the other events that we're putting on, MTAC, this thing that's going to happen when it's cold. Just going to leave that one there.
Teasers.
Teasers.
I don't like to tease.
Yes, you do.
Not ever. Not ever. We do these things. We're volunteers. No one takes a cut. Nobody gets paid.
Yeah.
And maybe one day when we have super awesome organized time to get that done, then amazing stuff will happen even more. But right now we're all volunteers. We do this for free. And when we're able to put an event like that together, it's truly a labor of love. I mean, that's the unanimous reason why people tell me that they do this. They love it, and they want to do awesome things.
We pay you in hugs. Can I pay you in hugs?
Yes, and I have a hug deficit, so.
Excellent. I also have gum. I like to pay people in gum.
Bubbly gum.
I'll take some gum from you, sir. Some gum will be fine, as long as it's not previously chewed. But I mean, it's you, so I'll try it.
No used gum.
Okay, so pros of the zombie walk. Before I get on a complete GMX track, because
it's gonna happen. I enjoyed so much the crowd participation. That weren't people.
Yeah, the side watchers, the normal people, the Mundies, the Muggles there on the side.
They were so involved taking pictures. I got stopped for pictures. I can't even tell you. I couldn't. You were way ahead of me in the walk because I just kept stopping. And there were so many pictures getting taken and so many people interacting with us. It was and inviting us to play, and that was wonderful. If you're going to dress up like a zombie, it's kind of fun to just rush at somebody, but you don't want to do that if it's not invited. You don't want to freak out people who don't want to be freaked out. And you don't want to get blood and appendages on things that don't belong to you.
That's absolutely one of my favorite things about Nashville, just to be honest, is we do the pirate pub crawl, too.
Yeah.
You could walk around downtown Nashville on a Friday night in complete pirate garb with your hat and everything, and people are just like, that's cool.
Everybody's totally cool.
Can we join you? Oh, yeah, come on.
Yeah, we're walking back, and people are stopping, and they're like, what's going on? We were at Cafe Coco hours later, and people were like, what's going on? What are you guys dressed up for? Where is it? Where can we go? We're like, you missed it.
Yeah, and same thing with the Santa Rampage in December. That's not an event I have anything to do with. I just show up and get drunk. But when you have, I don't know, I think last year we were pushing 1,500, 2,000 Santas. When you have 2,000 Santas just show up in your bar, people ask questions. What the hell just happened? I remember the first year we did that. We walked into Coyote Ugly, and Coyote Ugly was fairly quiet when we walked in. I think I was one of the first people to walk in. Like, oh, there's a dude in a Santa outfit. Ah, isn't that novel? And then 500 Santas walked in directly after. Needless to say, we took over the Lady Claus or Mrs. Clauses took over the dancing on the bar pretty quickly. It was
that's
fantastic.
Awesome.
It was yes, fantastic is a good word.
So cons of the cons we had discussed. And my biggest con was that I walked all the way down second, and then I had to walk all the way back to my car.
Right. And that was the second part of that con was that obviously the end of the route was far away from where we started, but that did mean that all these zombies are now turned loose to walk back to their cars, and instead of being an organized mob who was being supervised,
it was chaos.
It was kind of chaos.
But they were still very good, and I actually, to turn that into a pro, is I actually saw a lot of zombies picking up random trash on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So that we can do this again next year.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. I mean, honestly, I wasn't terribly a big fan of the route, but at that point, we'll take what we can get, and if that's what we gotta have a year probation, then okay, fine. The security company that we worked with was very eager to help us plan next year early. And by early, I literally mean March. We already have dates on our calendars to remind us and to meet. I think we're meeting like Friday the 13th in March, ironically, to sit down and have that discussion. So we can have some more organization around it. We can plan a lot earlier. We can get even more support from the city, and I think we'll be fine.
And it's a free event, and you always say that as long as you're running it, you're going to do your best to keep it a free event. So we want to make sure and mention the sponsors who help keep it a free event.
The sponsors, Devil's Dungeon and Haunted Hell, Haunted Houses, they were really cool. They really came through and made sure that we had financial coverage for the event. Same thing with Miller's Thrillers at the Haunted Woods and T-Pack with the Evil Dead. I mean, those folks provided financial support to make sure that the event happened, and security and insurance and all those things were covered. And then we have other folks that helped us out. We don't call them sponsors, we call them supporters. Big shout out to Ellen at the Frist. She made some phone calls on our behalf, which was really sweet of her, and really supports us, our whole organization, and everything that we do. And without people like her out in the city, we would cease to exist. And I love that lady so much. She's just so supportive and so open-minded. And that sounds cool. Let's do that. I'm like, okay. Hey, do you guys think this would be fun? Oh yeah, let's do that. So I mean, we have a really great relationship, and we're finding more and more and more people in the community as we've taken the approach of being open and listening to feedback and having good conversations that more and more people want to help us make Nashville a unique city, and when people come here that they have a unique experience. And we're very proud to be part of that.
And I want to ask you, because you bring that up, and which brings to mind a question that I have. You've been working in the geek community in and around Nashville for a few years now.
Just a couple.
Do you think that you see a progression? Do you think that it's becoming more acceptable and more sort of, hey, we want to dress up in costume, and the city's like, yeah, okay, we get that?
Yes and no. I think that anybody, and whether that's me or someone a part of our organization or someone at another show like a KaiCon, Devin out there, right, or any of the folks that do Hypericon, or any one of the number of other shows that are out there. Actually, I found out about a Doctor Who con that's going to happen in Clarksville in March, right? There's so many of these different groups out there, and my advice to them is to work with your community how your community wants to be worked with. Do I think that there's been a marketed change in acceptance of geek life? Yeah, I think there's a turn in that. I think that's because of two reasons. The first reason is because comic books have become so socially accepted because of the wide success of the Marvel films and the Fox X-Men movies and all of those properties, right? They make billions, literally billions and billions of dollars. Harry Potter, Star Wars is coming back. Those things really, in the public consciousness, the overall consciousness, the same consciousness that governs, it's something that's there. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, no, we're not doing that outside. No, go back, little geeklings.
Go back to your basements.
Right. The other side of that is that geeks have grown up. We've grown up to learn how to have negotiations with city governments, how to have negotiations with corporations, how to say, look, this is really cool, and if you let us do this thing, it's going to be awesome, and you'll probably make some money out of it if you play the game, if we all play the game right together. You look at examples of cities that host large events. You look at Comic-Con. Comic-Con's got to generate billions for the city of San Diego. I mean, 135, 140,000 people show up for the weekend. All of those people are eating 3, sometimes 7 meals a day, right? They're eating, they're drinking, they're spending money in hotel rooms. There's billions of dollars in revenue. Dragon Con. If Dragon Con didn't happen in Atlanta, it would hurt the local economy badly for that weekend. Yes, the 2 football games that happened that weekend are great, but they both pale in comparison when it comes to Dragon Con. So, I mean, there's lots of reasons why that type of mindset is being accepted. The other side of that is that there's a very serious education wrapper that you have when you start talking to corporations and governments, because everybody wants to be on the side of education. Everybody wants that.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that we talk about when it comes to education, arts, sciences, what we do is, and this is across all of our events, right? We want someone to come and learn something, no matter what that is. Most of the panels that you sit at are educational in some light, whether that's sitting and talking about the latest, greatest Star Trek thing. Well, science is going to wiggle its way in there somewhere. If you go to any cosplay anything, that's art. I don't care what you call it. That is art. And it's a very difficult art, and it's a very passionate art. You look at folks that do some of these cosplay, and you wonder, well, where are they going to go for their career? Well, I can tell you where they're going to go. They're going to work on a show like Penny Dreadful, where period pieces are just spot the F on, right? And that's where that goes. We talk about technology events and LAN parties and stuff. If it hadn't been for a LAN party, learning how to build a network, right? I guarantee you I wouldn't be where I'm at in my career right now. In fact, I can promise that. Dell has been very good to me in that respect because I learned all these things on my own. I went to places where I could be taught these things. So when we talk about is geekdom being accepted, and I think maybe that's a bigger question than what you're asking specifically about costumes, but that's a part of it, right? I definitely see that as being much more widely accepted. And I see that becoming from something that has to be accepted over time, and it's going to take a lot of work and patience on everybody's part. But over time, I see that becoming the norm. I don't see that being something that has to be accepted, where people are just accepted for what they do. And that's a key part of our core beliefs. And that's one of the things we believe in, is making sure that people are accepted and they're treated right, and that they can just be what they want to be. Don't care what it is.
Which is one of the best things about GMX in 12 days, is that it's definitely a place where any type of geekdom is accepted and has a place. There's the anime crowd is got something to do.
There's something there for
there's something
everybody.
For every
if there's
level
not
of
something
geek.
There for you, then you just don't like anything. That's just how it is.
Well,
Don't get them started.
well, there's that too, right? Well, here's a good example of, there's a couple examples, right? And you guys know I can talk about GMX until I'm dead. I probably will be because I haven't had dinner yet. But it is absolutely 100% diverse, right? When people hear the word geek, what do they think about? Instantly what they think about is some kid with glasses, right, that's a little skinny, likes comic books, or likes science, or likes those things. And that's just not true. That's just not the way, that's not what a geek is. A geek is someone who is passionate about something. And I'll have this fight all day long, and I will win every time. You cannot tell me that someone is not geeky in something. Is a farmer geeky? Yeah, a farmer is geeky because they love growing things. They love agriculture. They're passionate about the earth. Well, okay, right? Is a plumber geeky? Yes. How much physics does it get involved with plumbing, right? How much science is there? What about sports? Is sports geeky? Yes. Have you ever met a statistician? Oh my God. We're talking about the physics of sports on some of the impacts in football, or the angles and geometry involved in hockey. Or we start talking about the science behind those things, right? Are they geeky? Is that a geek? Is that someone that loves something? Yes. And so one of the things that we're hoping to do, we've been limited in size for where we are. I love our event space. The people at Cool Springs at the Marriott down there that's one of the best staffs I've ever worked with, and I've worked with a bunch of different hotel staffs. They're fantastic, but we're starting to get to the point where we want to grow again. And we think that we found a home for that. I was out there today, as a matter of fact. I can't tell you where it is. I'm not going to. No scoop for you. I'm sorry. Closing ceremonies. We're growing. We want to add and continue to be diverse. I talked to a guy who's a security expert, and what does that mean? Why is that geeky? Well, programmers, application developers, anyone that develops code, all the things that we're looking at right now in all the Google Hangout, right? People who develop that stuff, that's a form of geekdom that we haven't really explored very much. Another form of geekdom I want to get back to is music. I want a lot more music at our events. And our venue doesn't necessarily permit that very well. We just don't have the space
I have to say, I
do
do
music
love
right.
I love the Cool Springs Marriott. The
I love
hotel
them.
staff is amazing. And on the bright side, AkayaCon is moving there now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they
So
are.
there we
I
go.
just
You
happened
don't have to
to
miss
know those
it.
guys. I ran into those guys when they were doing a little informal tour, and I 100% said, if you can get into this hotel, get into this hotel. This will be your home. Respect it, love it, and they'll take care of you. And I'm very proud that the AkayaCon guys are moving there. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, so we don't have to miss it because we won't be missing AkayaCon anytime soon either.
No, especially with the pirate theme, I have to go.
But we're supposed to talk about GMX.
You don't have
That's
to.
all we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Is it GMX
Is it
yet?
GMX yet?
Oh my God, do you guys? That finally got around at work the other day. Oh man.
He's talking about isitgmxyet.com.
Go and look at it because it's going to answer all your important questions in life. All of life's important questions are answered at that website.
So I gotta know what's gonna happen the day that it is GMX.
You don't give me
You do
spoilers.
spoilers, you
I
don't
give
get
you
spoilers.
Like that picture of me you guys shopped is pretty epic. I wish I'd known I would have shaved or something. Yeah.
So basically, Brianna and I got drunk and we came up with this website.
It's true.
And Zot totally supported the whole thing. We're like, send us a picture of you doing a grumpy cat face. And he was like, here's 12.
Yeah. Had no
Well, I mean, I
idea
live with
what
a
we were
photographer.
doing. He just did
Why?
not question it. He goes, I trust you guys here. And I'm going, poor man.
It was fantastic. It's beautiful. Go to the website. It's wonderful. And in 12 days, it'll be something different that we're not telling. Mostly because we don't know yet.
Well, in 13 days, I'll tell everybody. I think in the next 15 days, we will have 3 pretty major announcements that I'm pretty excited about.
Speaking of announcements, are you done announcing guests yet? Or do you have more secrets?
I got one more. It just showed up today. I think maybe one more. I'm working on it. I know your next question, so I'm just going to go ahead and answer. I was bummed about Ron canceling. I know you're just totally going to drill me on that, and I'm okay with it. I was bummed about Ron. We found out, and we were like, well, that sucks. Budget's locked. What do we do? And I know that there were some folks that didn't like the way that was handled, but I'm going to revert back to about 7-8 minutes ago when I said volunteers. We're doing the best that we can. We all have day jobs. No one here is a professional anything. We just do this because we love it. And was it handled perfectly? Is anything ever? Was it, is there anything I can do about it? No. I was a little bummed about that, but, we're doing the best we can. And honestly, the show is going to go on. We're going to have an amazing weekend, and I can't wait for all the things.
We always do. We always have an amazing weekend. But we also spoke about Gigi, because I am excited to meet Gigi. The guest is not my big thing about cons. My friends I'm more excited to see my friends than to see the guests at the con.
Typically.
But I am excited to see Gigi. I do love her.
Yeah, I was excited. She hit us up, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, and I was like, nah, I don't know. We had a few other folks on the hook, and then she was really persistent. She was like, I really want to come to your show, and I was like, okay, let me talk to Juliet. And I talked to Juliet, and we made an agreement. We worked out a deal that was good for everybody, and I'm excited. She was one of the more fun people to talk to when we talk to guests. One of the things I get to do is I get to talk to them and explain the show. Because before I'll let them sign on the dotted line with us, look, you're going to have a Q&A, and you're going to sell autographs. But you're also going to do all these other things. And by that, I mean, what do you want to do when you come to a show? And she was like, well, what? And I was like, well, if you could do anything, at a show, what would you do? And she got really quiet. And I said, has anybody ever asked you that question before? She said, well, no. And so I'm asking you that question because that's a standard question of all of our guests. Is what do you want to do, right? That's how programming's decided. The community. We asked the community, what do you want to do, right? So I've got to ask you. And she got really quiet for a second, like she didn't know how to react or so. And she said, well, there is one thing. And I was like, oh boy, this sounds interesting. And I said, well, what is it? She's like, you'll never let me do it. I was like, well, you'd be surprised. We pull off miracles. And she said, I like to do fire eating. And I was like, oh my God. I don't know if we can do that indoors.
But we could do it outside, right?
We may be able to do it outside. There's obviously a safety issue there. And I said, well, okay, what's the second most awesome thing you'd want to do at a show?
Oh, come on, Zod. I'll get out there and join her. Seriously.
Hates fire.
I totally believe you will. I'm fine with it as long as it's out on the yard and we have fine protection. I mean, I love it. You guys have seen some of the photographs I've taken of people eating fire, so I love it. That's one of my favorite things. So she's like, well,
not condoning fire eating at GMX, by the way. I would just like to point that out. Zot did not just condone playing with fire.
Not inside the hotel.
Inside the building.
Inside the hotel. We're a PR nightmare, is what we are.
I think I'm going to have my butt kicked less this recording than I did the other one. So Gigi said, well, the second thing that I've always wanted to do at a show is show off my unicycling talents. And I was like, what? Come to find out, her husband is a world-renowned unicyclist, and of course she's picked up a few skills along the way. And you can go to YouTube and just look up Gigi Hadid unicycle, and you'll find her unicycling with her husband. And he rides these giraffe unicycles that are just like 12 feet tall, and he gets way up there. They're as tall as street lamps. And I think he juggles at the same time, which is the core on that guy. It's got to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now we know how he keeps Gigi Hadid.
There you go.
Hey, unicyclists do one thing well, right? Fired.
So we got some good things to look forward to, definitely, as usual. Yes. I've never had a bad time at GMX, so you should all of you should come out and
GeekMediaExpo.com. Register, get your passes. It's gonna be awesome. It's always awesome.
It's always awesome.
I'll probably
it is always awesome.
Elevator.
Hey, everybody gets molested.
If you don't, I'm gonna be a little disappointed with you.
I mean,
because I would be like,
at this point.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah,
just it's close. It's just close because there's
hugs.
an elevator and there's like 50 people in there.
It's cuddles.
Right, it's cuddles, elevator cuddles.
Cuddle puddle, yay!
Oh, GMX. So, GMX, yep, 12 days, and it's going to be awesome. Also, the Zombie Walk, 7th year, is going to be awesomer.
Awesomer.
Than this year.
Hopefully a bigger, better, more spectacular route.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, we asked people to behave themselves, and we have the appearance that they did. I walked by several of the shops that were very concerned. There's a lady who does jewelry right next to the Wild Horse. She was very concerned. So I walked by yesterday after it was over, and she said, and I quote, "Best zombie walk ever." So with the folks on 2nd Avenue now supporting us, I mean, we'll talk to the rest of the shop owners and make sure everybody was happy. But with the shop owners supporting us, we can only do bigger and better things. So again, you play your card right, you behave, and you have the right conversations, and good things happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and I talked to a lot of attendees, stopped a lot of people and talked to them. And like I said, we also went, to a couple of places afterwards where there were more people. And I know that the attendees were very happy.
Yeah. I
know a couple of people had mentioned that, maybe it wasn't as big as last year, but they were actually still really happy with the turnout. And with the route, was surprisingly well received.
It was. I mean, there's always going to be, I think we saw 2 people. One was an attendee, and one is just this other guy, just kind of ranting about it because, I don't know, I guess they don't have anything better to do on a Tuesday night. But, yeah, you're never going to satisfy 100% of the people. And, if out of, I think we've got 10,000 people on that that Facebook page, if 2 people don't like it out of 10,000, I'd say we did all right.
Good job.
And to be fair, if I had gotten stopped at that red light at 2nd and Broadway, as long as some of those people did, if I had somewhere to be, I might be a little ranty.
Are you talking about the people in the cars and stuff?
Yeah, well, because they stopped the cars. I don't think they stopped them for very long. I rage drive, so I would probably be a little angry.
It couldn't have been for too long, though.
No, and on our way back, a lot of the cars were stopping and rolling down their windows and asking, what was going on and could they get in on it, and so that's always.
You can always get in on it. Never mind. Come on, get in on it, right? You want to come have a good time. Come have a good time, and that's the thing, right? People see, and that's how these things grow. I mean, we had a really great reaction from the folks that were just sitting there eating dinner. Again, the shopkeepers were happy. The cops were happy. I was happy. I mean, David Kendall walked up to me after. He's our executive director of sales and marketing. He was like, "Oh my God, you're smiling," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm smiling." He was like, "Okay, everybody, the event's a success. We got Zot to smile." Okay. Like, am I that grumpy all the damn time, really? But I know I have high expectations, so I can be hard to please. But at the end of the day, I was walking up 2nd Avenue just grinning ear to ear. And people were looking at me. I'm like, "Do you like our zombies? That was pretty cool." They were like, "Yeah, it was awesome." So we did what we came to do. We brought some food over for the Second Harvest Food Bank. We got to dress up and have some bloody fun, and that was the point.
And as a side note, for anybody watching that wants to help the zombie walk, GMX and the zombie walk really need a new megaphone.
Yes.
If anybody wants to donate one of those,
donate a new megaphone because
poor Terry would really appreciate that.
Terry can't talk today.
I was so told that it had fresh batteries in it and that we were ready to go. I was so told that I will get a better megaphone or maybe a PA system next year because we definitely. Yeah, I was trying to yell into it and everyone was like, "No, you have to talk into it." I was like, "I'm talking into it."
You had to make out with it basically for it to work.
Pretty much. I was attracted to it.
It was pretty and metally.
I really like blue, and I could make it fit, I guess.
We have to stop now. Okay, so everybody should check out the NashvilleZombieWalk.com, right? It's the Nashville Zombie Walk now? That's correct. We had a quick domain change because of some dumb things, and no big deal. And then, so it's the Nashville Zombie Walk. Check them out on Facebook, and you can keep up so you can be ready next year. Also, like I said, go to gmx.com, geekmediaexpo.com, get your passes for GMX. It is by far my favorite con, and you're going to love it. It's amazing. And I guess that's it. We did our pros, we did our cons.
I'll throw one more thing in. After GMX, coming in November, I'm looking at doing another Pirate Pub Crawl.
We are. We're going to announce that really soon. It's going to be awesome.
I'll have the date posted soon. I just got to final up some details and.
Drunk pirates.
Awesome.
Drunk.
Awesome.
Stupid and speaking in bad accents all night.
Okay, so obviously the next Pros on Cons episode is going to be after GMX. I'm not sure who's going to come and join us. Zot maybe, but we'll see. Maybe.
You can always ask Riley or Juliet or David or any of those folks.
Absolutely, any number of people.
You can ask us all if you want to.
I'll get 10 people on there. I don't care. Well, I'll talk about it. It's all I talk about all the time anyway.
It is true.
All right, so GMX. After that, maybe a Pirate Pub Crawl. In December, I'll be at Yamacon, so if you guys want to come out to Yamacon with me in Pigeon Forge, I've not been yet, so I'm excited to go to that. And we'll see you guys in 12 days and counting. It's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, Zot.
Bye. Thanks, guys, for having me.
We'll see you in 12 days for Hugs and Cuddles.
Hugs and Cuddles, Hugs and Cuddles.
Bye.
Bye.